First one is speaking too quickly. Sometimes I do it in my TikTok videos because I got 60 seconds to get the message out. So speaking too quickly, take time to speak. Pause, right? Take time, speak confidently. If you're worth waiting for, people will wait. If you're giving value, people will wait. And when you pause, it can create emphasis. And when you pause, especially a cliffhanger, leave a cliffhanger, like there's something really, really important. The most important thing you need to know is, and then you go. That little pause, when you pause at a cliffhanger, it gets people thinking. It gets them paying more attention, gets them thinking. It's called a transderivational search in their brain. Really, really cool stuff. So anyway, that's one thing, is to not speak too quickly and take your time. If you're important, you're worth listening to. Yes, be concise instead of being long and rambling and talking quickly. Be concise. So that I'm going to do that right now. Next is avoid inflecting up at the end of a statement. So instead of like, I'm a really, really good salesperson, it's like, I'm a really, really good salesperson, right? And you're like, I can get you really great results, right? That inflection, I'm totally worth, $150,000 a year. It's inflecting up, and a lot of us do it. And listen to any recordings, record your calls, your conversations, listen for this in yourself as well, and avoid inflecting up at the very, very end. My thing is worth $10,000, and it's worth every penny, right? It's sometimes it's not as dramatic as I'm doing, but I'm doing it for emphasis as well. Pause. So okay, I'm having fun here. So again, be really careful not to inflect up at the end. Are people going to not take, like, if you say to someone, this is very, very important, you really need to listen to this. It's going to have a different effect than, this is really important, and you really need to listen to this, right? Totally. See what I just did there? Totally different on the way it's taken. Next is mumbling towards the end of the sentence, right? Mumbling towards, you're talking and going like this, and then if you're not really sure of yourself or not really sure what you're talking about, you start to kind of mumble and just talk a little quickly, just like, and you stop. The other thing people do, the next confidence and communication killer, is winding down. You're talking maybe at a decent level, and you're talking and you're winding down, and you're starting, the volume is going down and down. It's kind of like, that a song fades out, being out, winding down like a song. You start going quieter, and you start talking less and less, and people can't really hear you when you stop. So that's one thing as well. By the way, for someone who talks too quietly or talks quite quietly, talk from your diaphragm. Instead of up here, talk from your diaphragm down here. Take a big breath and talk like this. You get a lot more power when you take a big breath and talk from your diaphragm, your lower belly, than just talking up here with short breaths. People will be annoyed, and they'll shut down and they'll shut off if you are someone who talks too quiet. If you talk quiet, it's hard to hear, or if they're hard of hearing and they're trying to get close to you, or they're cocking their ear to hear more, if you're talking too quietly, you're going to lose them. You're also going to scare the crap out of them if you're talking too loudly at someone who is more of a quiet talker. But for all you quiet talkers there, if someone especially is like me, who's a little more volumized, a little louder, you're going to lose me and lose other people if you talk quiet and mousy and you're really quiet and not enough volume, especially if there's any noise around, any distractions, you're out anywhere where there's a little sound or noise, you're going to lose them. They're going to shut down, and they'll be like, but they're not listening. All right, next, too many filler words. Kind of, I don't know. It's so funny talking to people sometimes, like, so, blah, blah, like, I don't know. Like, well, do you know or don't you know? It's really distracting, kind of funny actually, but really distracting. And it causes people to shut down and shut off when you're trying to listen to them, right? It causes people to shut down and shut off, and they'll dismiss you, right? So those are a couple things as well. And that last one again is avoid the filler words. It's so distracting, and they seem like they don't have anything to talk about. So avoid these 5 communication and confidence saboteurs. Also, here's a bonus one. Feel free to disagree. Be devil's advocate, not in a jerky way, but saying, well, I see it this way. Or, I actually disagree because of this. Or, have you ever thought of it this way? Or let me give you a different perspective. Or can I give you a different perspective? Or would you be open to a different perspective? right? Or if someone says something absolutely wrong, speak out. Being a bit disagreeable, I mean, be agreeable. It's a great trait for relationships and for community. However, be okay being a bit disagreeable. And if you really disagree with something or you want to show someone a different point of view, be okay with saying, hey, I disagree, or hey, here's a different point of view. It's okay to have a backbone. It's okay to disagree. People like people that disagree and that are not yes men or yes women. Trust me, people will like you if you, again, in a kind way, not in a jerky way, disagree or say, I was thinking of it like this, or, in my opinion, or what I believe, or what I find works, or my perspective, or are you open to a different perspective? Would you be open to a devil's advocate, or would you be open to a different view, or for me to ask you some questions about that, or for me to, I'm curious where you got that, how you came up with that, where'd that come from? Anyways, have fun with that. There was 5 convents and communication saboteurs. Until next time, go have your best day ever. I'm James Robert Elliott.